All right. Okay. All right. Last week we started a series called Canceled, right? And we've talked about how social media allows cancel culture to be a lot more in our face. Now, cancel culture can be a very negative place. Social media can be negative. It can also be positive, or funny, especially with older people involved trying to use social media or texting things. One of my favorites is when the mom's like, "Your grandma died, LOL," right? And the kids are like, why are you laughing about this? She's like, "Doesn't it mean lots of love?" No, Mom. My dad does not get technology, and I absolutely don't have the patience to teach him it. I'm going to show you a little commercial. Maybe you know someone like this. Video. You may need to...
Instead of mailing everyone my vacation photos, I'm saving a ton of time by posting them to my wall.
Ooh, I like that one.
It's so quick. It's just like my car insurance. I save 15% in just 15 minutes.
I save more than that in half the time.
I'd unfriend you.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
15 minutes for a quote isn't how it works anymore. With eSurance, 7.5 minutes could save you on car insurance. Welcome to the modern world. eSurance, backed by Allstate. Click or call.
How many of you have ever had to show someone older how to use social media, internet, or anything? Does anyone have a good story or anything funny? You what? He is? Okay. Teaching your mom to use Snapchat. My dad calls it face space. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Okay. Any others? Jenna. Okay, literally this year, I was talking to Bonnie KP, and somehow she turned her recorder on, and then she sent this video of like her pocket, but I clearly say, "I'm not working today," in a tone about being at a staff thing. Like, "Thanks, Bonnie," and she sent it to all of staff. I was like, who does that? Yeah. So here's the thing. When we have to teach someone who needs help in something, sometimes we can lose our patience, right? It's easy to get frustrated, especially with family, when someone needs help doing something that seems very easy to us. And like just now, I thought that game was very easy, and I got very frustrated because not many of you got it. But I'm sure there's times where we just want to tell them, look it up. Just look it up on YouTube or something like that, right? Every day we face opportunities to help others in small ways, whether it's showing your grandma or grandpa or whoever how to use emojis, or helping a kid tie their shoe, or giving someone part of your lunch that doesn't have a lunch. Depending on the person, the need, your mood, or how busy you are, you may or may not want to help them in reality. Everyone is helpful and generous sometimes, but then there's those times where we don't want to be. Because we're too busy, we're too annoyed, we're too tired, or someone else will help them if we don't. Every day we're surrounded by people who need help with things that are a lot more serious than figuring out just how to post something on their story or to Facebook or Instagram. I want you to pay attention to this next video. And my guess is most of us would say we would help this person.
Ano? FC.
Akala siguro.
어디가 다 입었다.
물에 밀었다는 선 때줄자니랑 맞추야 그랬구나. 딸이 숨을 올라보다
Now, most of us would probably help a child. But if it was a homeless man, someone who looked different in that way, we may not be as willing to help as the people did once her appearance changed. When we're in need, we are at our most vulnerable. But unfortunately, we don't always respond with compassion, care, or concern when others are in need. At times we respond with disgust or suspicion or impatience. The reality is that sometimes we will be the ones that are able to help, and sometimes we're going to be the ones who are in need. So knowing that there are going to be times when you're in need, you should be living a way where you then are willing to help when you're able to. Jesus often was interrupted by people's cry for him, right? There was a blind man that shouted out to him as he walked down the road. And the crowd is actually yelling, this is in Mark, the crowd's yelling at him to shut up, like, shh, shh, shh. And Jesus heard him and says, tell him to come here. So they call for the man to come up. And Jesus says, what can I do for you? and he was a blind man. He said, I want to see. And Jesus said, go, for your faith has been healed. Instantly, the man could see and followed Jesus down the road. This man pleaded for help, but by the world was told to be quiet. The crowds couldn't bother with this person who needed help. Kind of makes me think of the whole Travis Scott thing, to be honest, where people are climbing up on the stage yelling, there's people dying down here. But people just don't care because we're self-absorbed at times. Another one is, does anyone remember the story in Luke where the woman had been bleeding for like years and years and years? Does anyone remember what she does to Jesus? Yes. She just reaches out and touches his robe. Right? And Jesus says, who touched me? Everyone denied it. And then Jesus said, no, someone reached out for me. It was different than being in a crowd. And the woman realized she could not stay hidden, and she fell to her knees in front of him. The whole crowd heard her explain why she had touched him. And he healed her immediately, saying, daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace. But because of her gender, because of this illness, this woman was not seen as what the crowd would see as worthy of Jesus' time. It's interesting. We tend to do the same thing to people. We think they are not worth Jesus' time by the way people look or by the needs they have. But Jesus said both of those people, the blind man and this woman, were important. They were worth his time. Later on, Jesus talks in Matthew about he talks about two animals. He talks about goats and sheep. Goats are very independent. Even when they're members of a herd, they like to go off and explore on their own. Goats tend to be more concerned about themselves than their other little goat friends. Sheep, on the other hand, are all about their herd. They stick together. So we're going to turn to Matthew 25, verses 31 through 46. Ooh, she was on it. 1063. Megan, you get to pick who reads tonight. Just need you to pick a name. Lainey, Lainey raised her hand. Okay. does Jesus judge who are sheep and who are goats in this? He makes decisions according to how they treat people, specifically the people in need. Goats, the unrighteous. Goats were the ones who didn't care for people in need. Maybe because they were too busy thinking about themselves, right? Sheep are known as the righteous. Sheep are the ones who saw someone in need and ran to help. You know, according to Jesus, sheep are the kind of people who keep their eyes out for others and who are in need. Sheep think, how can I help? Through his teachings and his example, Jesus constantly cared for people who were canceled, forgotten, disrespected, or ignored because of their needs. And now he challenges us to do the same. He challenges us to love those who are in need. And I'm not just talking about someone who's poor or homeless or has a disease. There are a lot of need in this world. We need to remember a few things. It's not only about our actions, it's about our hearts. Jesus doesn't challenge us only to act concerned about others or to put on a show for meeting people's needs. In this parable, the sheep didn't notice anyone. So they didn't know that they had to do for others. It's not only about loving others, it's about loving God. Jesus challenges us to love others well. But here's the secret. When we love others well by meeting their needs, that shows our love for Jesus. When we love others well, we're loving Jesus through that too. It's not about what we have, it's about what we can give. Some of you are thinking, I'm 14? Is some of you 14? Maybe. Right? I don't know the age in this. 14 to 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds in here. What do I really have to offer to help this world? It's not about what you have, but it's about what you can give. So if you can give time to someone. If you can give a simple hello, do that. You know, it's not about the resources. It doesn't mean you have to go out and give all your money to the poor. It's also not about them, it's about us. Sometimes when we talk about meeting others' needs, we talk as if they were people with, we talk as though we're the people with all the power, that we have the resources and stuff, while people in need are completely separate from us. That's not true. We're all in this together. Thank you. We're all in this together, that it's not about separating people from each other. So how do we do this? How do we care for people around us who are in need? You know, do we need to wait for a little girl to walk up to us in a restaurant? Do we need to ask God to help us heal the blind and the sick? No, but how do we do this practically? There are opportunities all around us. There are so many needs around in this world. The issue is we're not paying attention enough. You could even walk in here on a Tuesday night and there could be multiple people in here in need of something. But oftentimes we don't notice that one person sitting off on their phone. We don't say, hey, let's go get them and bring them too. No, you wait till Kim says, go get that person. That person is in need of feeling comfortable in this community, like you feel. There are opportunities everywhere, in your schools, in your family. Simple things can show love to those in need. You know, what is it? Is it getting a meal for someone? Is it sitting with someone when they're alone? You know, is it helping someone learn their lines for the musical? Or is it even just checking in on someone that's had a rough week? I'm not telling you guys you have to go out there and solve world hunger. Dylan said something today. He said, unless we all change, we're just going to keep living this life where there is no change. And so unless we start to notice others, we're not going to have change in this world. We all want this world to be changed, right? We all are like, I'm sick of this, I'm sick of this. But what does it matter if we're not doing our part to help be that change? Love. Love people that are different from you. Love people who are in need. Then next week we're going to talk about love people that we want to hate. And some people have joked about not wanting to come to that. I get it, because I want to hate who I want to hate, right? But like, if we all don't change, nothing else is going to change. I quoted you, you left when I quoted you. I'm going to end with a song, so Zach probably needs to end the feed. Actually, can you look up on YouTube? And the song is Give Me Your Eyes music video. I know, I thought of you. Give Me Your Eyes. I can't remember the name.